All right, it's time. Freaking weather is raining, obviously, but the spray foam guys are here. We're gonna keep on trucking. I gotta move the fish house up on some blocks so he can get underneath it with the spray nozzle. So that's what we're doing right now, but I'm excited. She's getting locked in and then we can move on to the fun stuff. All right, we got King Arthur and his cousin Brian from Foam Express out of Pelican Rapids. And he's gonna be the guy doing up the fish house and every other bill we have after that. So, he's our guy.
He's what's up.
Also, just to say again, last night we got 4 inches of rain. About a week ago we got 3.5 inches of rain. Still 100% sealed. All the caulking has survived the sunlight and not a single drop in here. Before any roofing or siding, just throwing that out there again.
AMRB's what we got. Yeah, time's close, I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressed with the watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Pins on the jacket, the man's abundant. The point of the road was banned and rugged. Hushing, I'm plotting on pants in London. The products are not being scared of some judgment. Gotta stay in the cut you off if you ain't making the cut. Couldn't tell you who the hell is behind us. You start to forget when you stay in front of it's up. And it's up for grabs, no remorse of who I'm taking it from. Numbers I give on my scoreboard is the only form of us staying in touch, that's saying enough. It's time to receive for all of the favors I've done. Too late for y'all to switch teams, everybody getting big leagues. Product flying out the shelf, what's in store for us? Known to hit a hole in one, to get the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whatever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Stick it to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across.
All right, man. It looks good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One solid block now. Huh?
One solid block now.
It'd probably float if it did go through the ice.
Yeah, right.
Like a bobber.
So now we're gonna get it back off our ghetto blocks. Okay, she's all insulated and Dad slaved through the night and my mom. And they shaved off all the excess that was on the studs. So we have nice bare studs again for putting our wall paneling on. So it's all cleaned up and ready to go. And now we're gonna test the efficiency. So right now, where we are, it's 51 degrees. We have a little thermometer in here that's right at 50, almost 51, so it's getting acclimated. And we put a sunflower heater in here, and he just started it when I started this video.
Should crank it up to high.
Yeah, crank it up to high. We'll just see. And we're gonna just test how long it takes to get up to a decent temperature in here. And then we'll shut the heater off, and then we'll just hold it without a heater and see how long it holds its heat. And that's without having the windows put in. So these are still, we didn't caulk these seams, they're still open.
And the AC unit.
We have an AC unit hole. And then the door is just tacked on again. It's not sealed off or nothing yet. It's just roughed in. I'm gonna try to keep it all in one frame, so I'll just fast forward this.
There's no blower on this thing either, so it's just heat from this spot.
Yeah.
If we had the fans and stuff, it would distribute the air a lot quicker.
Did that all in one frame. So 10 minutes and 37 seconds it took to go from 50 to 70 degrees in here. There's 20-degree difference from a cold shell, and the thing was like an ice box because it was holding all the cold from last night when it was, what, 38?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like colder inside here than it was outside actually. Okay, so I had to run to town to get some more wiring, and it's been well, you can stop it now probably. So 3 hours, 2 hours and 59 minutes. We've only gone down 10 degrees. Yeah, so 3 hours with like no airflow.
And that's opening and closing the door 50 billion times.
Right. It's only gone down 10 degrees. Not bad. Spray foam is definitely the cat's ass. That looks sick, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, fun stuff's over. Now it's time to run wires. All right, guys, here is the wired mess. But it's also pretty damn organized. There are a few things that I have to finish yet. I gotta run all the wires for the 12 volt USB sockets for phone chargers, just 12 volt chargers. And then I gotta run a 12 volt fan for my tank box heater. And then another wire off of this switch panel up to the puck light that runs the front of the fish house here above the kitchen. So that's pretty self-explanatory. There'll be 2 more leads coming out of this switch panel to make it a 2 gang. This is just the power wire to run the switch panel. So forget about that because we have to finish that yet. But we'll start with the 110 stuff since it's very minimal in here. Basically, this half of the Jackknife sofa box, this half will be all electronic, and the battery bank. So the fuse panel will be right here, one of those nice flip down door RV ones that got all your 110 breakers and then all of your 12 volt fuses in one unit. So freaking nice. And also it's by PowerMax, so you know it's good. So everything in the fish house comes to here, except for the trailer wiring. So all the trailer brakes, the marker lights, the tail lights, turn signals, the auxiliary, and the reverse lights, all that is ran into this box to run off of that battery that runs the lift pump, because that way when the truck's plugged into the fish house, all your marker lights and tail lights and brake lights, everything work. That's all harnessed to here, separate circuit, and the lift pump runs off that battery as well. So when it's plugged into the truck, it'll trickle charge that battery to make sure that you always have enough juice to get you raised and lowered in this fish house since it's a hydraulic frame. So that is its own circuit, completely separate from everything else. And then everything else runs to this spot here. So I already explained the scenario with this 2 gang. Here we have a 5 gang. So right off the bat, we got our puck lights that are gonna run the puck lights in the main area, 2 12 volt fans up in the ceiling, and then that completes everything inside on this 5 gang here. And the other 3 switches on the 5 gang, we have our exterior courtesy lights, our come find me lights, and then we have our awning LED strip light underneath the awning. And then the awning switch has its own power leads, and that'll be up here a little bit higher. It's more out of the way of kids' reach, so that way they can't crank open the awning and cut someone's head off. So yeah, I don't care if they play with switches, but no for the awning. And then back here, we have a 4 gang switch panel. It's kind of hard to tell with all these other leads going around. So this switch panel is gonna have the battery voltage meter and then the 4 gang switches. So right off the bat, our rock lights, AKA our soffit lights. Basically, this is the lighting for the back of the fish house and the seating area. And then we have our red lights, so you can shut off all the other interior lights in the fish house. Click on that red light, because apparently fish can't see red light, so when they're trying to fish stealth mode and not hurt their own eyes, they can kick off all the other lights in the fish house and turn on the red lights, and that will turn on literally a whole bunch of red LED strip lights that I'm excited to install and show you guys. So this thing will just be like basically Tron'd out. So that's those two leads. The last one, we have a Hoots logo. So that's gonna be a special signature idea on the back of the fish house. That's also gonna be ran with the marker lights as well on a different circuit with 2 other lights, and then 2 other lights will be ran off of this circuit with a switch, so that way when he's out on the ice or he's at a campsite, you can kick on the logo lights, and we're gonna have a really sexy thing back there. It's a nice idea. I can't wait to show you guys that one as well. And then we have our exterior speaker shut off. So this is all of our interior speakers, and this is our 1 lead daisy chain to our exterior speakers. That way when they're listening to music in here, they can shut the speakers off outside when no one's out there, or they're not sitting under the awning, because you don't want to annoy everybody at a campsite. So, and because my dad and I are car system savvy, we actually wired it up like it's supposed to be, like you would in a car. So we have our left rear, right rear, left front, right front on their own separate wires. So that way it'll literally be like a surround sound system. So I don't see that in a lot of fish houses. Everybody else just daisy chains all their speakers. So this will be pretty cool, because when they're watching football and stuff in here, or movies or whatever, or listening to music, it'll be surround sound. So we got 6.5 there, 6.5 there, 2 more 6.5s up in the ceiling, and then 2 8-inchers down there for a little more thump. So it should be freaking sick. And that basically completes this whole panel back here. This is just gonna be for the stereo. So we're having a slide out drawer there and a slide out drawer there for rods. And then there'll be a little void in the cabinets before that cabinet up here starts. There'll just be a little empty void spot with a faceplate that we can cut and mount the stereo into. So that's why these are sticking up way high. Basically, as far as the 12-volt chargers go, you guys know me. I like to have a convenient charger for everybody in every bunk, just because that's how we roll. So this guy here is gonna have a charger. This guy there is gonna have a charger. The drop bed that comes out from hiding behind the cabinets is gonna have its own charger pod up there. And then these 2 bunks here, the one above the window is gonna have his own charger, and the one below the window is gonna have his own charger. So we'll start in the back here. Comes out of that same panel, right up to here. We have an outlet for this TV, and then we also have an outlet down here underneath the box, so that way the little crystal fireplace that we're gonna have here, in case anything ever gets, there's a automatic shut off close proximity sensor, and if that goes off, then you have to unplug it and plug it back in, so you can't hardwire stuff like that. So that wire is gonna be able to route down into the wall, pop through the paneling down here, and then plug into that outlet. So that completes this back area. And then moving on to the front, daisy chained this outlet and this outlet. So this is another outlet for a TV on this open wall between the cabinets. And then this is an outlet for anything that you want to plug in that's sitting on the counter. Up here in the front, we got a front 2 outlets, same thing. This is for the TV. This is for anything plugged in on the kitchen counter. So there is going to be a little sink here, and there's no water tanks, there's no plumbing. He just wanted a sink so he can have a bucket underneath and then, you know, just dump water and fill it up to be able to clean fish and wash his hands and stuff, and just dump the bucket out. So there is no running water, but just to be safe, got a GFI outlet. So that's everything 15 amp, and then we have 2 20 amps. One up here, got another GFI outlet on 12 gauge wire, 12-2, to run the microwave, and that's on its own circuit all by itself. So that way it's never gonna have any other load draw issues with anything else that's plugged in. All the outlets are daisy chained together, except for those two back there, because that's a 1500 watt fireplace or something. It kicks out a little bit of heat, so I wanted that to have its own circuit as well. But those are all 15 amp, that's 20 amp on 12.2, and then we also have another 20 amp circuit on 12.2 for the AC, and that's on its own circuit as well, its own breaker. So that's got its own breaker, that's got its own breaker, that's got its own breaker, and then all the outlets are on one single breaker. Just like you would a house. Pretty much it. Up here in the front, we got our wires ran for the igniter on the stove and the fume hood. That can get daisy chained because there's very little power there. And then I got 2 wires here to link up to the furnace. Just because that was a pretty long stretch, I wanted to make sure it had plenty of power with a big enough wire so I don't have to worry about any heating issues. So that is wired up for there. And for the refrigerator, it's a 12 volt refrigerator, but it called for 10 AUG wire. So we got 2 10 AUG wire coming up here to run our refrigerator. And then this here is gonna be the red LED strip light. So there'd be 1 lead for the top ones and 1 lead for the lower ones. And I can't wait to freaking show you guys because it's gonna look so sexy in here. And then if you guys saw this too, this little mess here, we just had this temporarily hooked up so we could get it from the shop that we put the siding and roofing on, which will be the next episode, back to here legally. So we had to hook up those 2 taillights and then just kind of wire it up quick so we had blinkers and stop signals. But other than that, this is gonna get routed up through the shelf here. There's gonna be a vented battery box here, and then the 12 volt bus bar panel is gonna get mounted in there, where all of this stuff is gonna get connected to nicely. And then you have a troubleshooting area that's nice and convenient too for any problems that could potentially happen over the years. So yeah guys, that is the end of this episode. Spray foam and wiring. The next episode, siding, roofing, finishing off the little accessories outside like the lights and all that good stuff. And then maybe if it's not that long of a video, we'll throw in finishing the interior in the same episode. But I'm not sure yet, because if it's gonna be a longer episode, then I'll just make finishing the interior its own episode, because that's my favorite part. That's what I do for a living, is interior finish work. My dad and grandpa do it as well. That's why I grew up doing it. They're actually up building the cabinets right now, so should be pretty freaking sweet. Things got jumped around all over the place, waiting on getting it spray foamed and waiting on a few things to come in the mail before we could start other things. So we're all over the place, but we're still making it happen for you guys, and we're gonna get this thing wrapped up right before ice fishing, which is gonna be friggin' perfect. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If not, that's fine too, but regardless, life is short. So get out and do all the things. We'll see you in the next one.